The peaceful colony on Earth's frontier was thriving, its bright fields and calm skies a testament to humanity's resilience. For decades, this far-flung settlement had lived in peace, growing its crops and advancing its technologies, far away from the conflicts of the rest of the galaxy. Life was simple, quiet, and free from the shadow of war. But in a split second, everything changed. The warning came too late, a shrill siren cutting through the otherwise peaceful air. The Earth Defense Force had detected an incoming fleet, but it was already too close to intercept. In a flash, the sky darkened as the Galactic Council's warships appeared out of nowhere, their massive forms cloaked until the very last moment. The colony's defense systems were quickly overwhelmed, and the very ground beneath them shook as the first bombs fell. At the heart of the colony was a young boy, Ethan. He was just 10 years old, playing in the backyard of his family's modest home when the sky darkened above. His laughter was cut short as the first explosion echoed through the air. Ethan's eyes widened in terror as he turned to see the devastation unfolding around him. A wave of dust and debris surged toward him, and before he could run to safety, the ground cracked beneath his feet. His tiny body was thrown into the air, a moment frozen in time before he was lost beneath the rubble. The attack didn't stop there. The Galactic Council's cold, calculating AI commander directed wave after wave of destruction, sweeping through the colony with ruthless efficiency. The sound of their laser cannons and war machines filled the air. Every building was reduced to dust, every person a casualty in this cruel, unexpected war. Ethan's mother, caught in the chaos, screamed his name as she searched the rubble. But it was too late. The brutal broadcast of Ethan's lifeless body, lying amongst the debris of the broken colony, was transmitted across the galaxy. The images were inescapable. His small body, a tragic symbol of the Council's cruelty, flickered on every screen on Earth. His mother's anguished cries, amplified by the broadcast, echoed in the hearts of every human watching. Ethan's death was not just a loss for his family, but a declaration of war from the Galactic Council, a message meant to break the spirits of humankind. The entire planet of Earth was plunged into grief. No corner of the world remained untouched by the horror of what had transpired. People sat in stunned silence, unable to process the tragedy. It wasn't just the loss of one child. It was the loss of innocence, the loss of humanity's peaceful way of life. Rage began to rise in every corner of the world, and whispers of vengeance spread like wildfire. The news networks, once filled with stories of daily life, now showed only one image: Ethan's tiny, broken body lying under the weight of the world's rage. Politicians, generals, and ordinary citizens were united in their sorrow, but also in their fury. They knew they couldn't let this go. Humanity would have to fight back. The camera zoomed out from the screen showing Ethan's death, capturing the tear-streaked faces of Earth's leaders as they met in secret, hastily called emergency sessions. The United Earth Council, the leaders of humanity's last hope, gathered in a secure underground bunker. In the dimly lit room, voices trembled with anger, some crying out for immediate retribution, while others argued for caution. But one thing was clear: the Galactic Council had crossed a line, and humanity would not stand idly by. As the cameras flashed outside the bunker, the people of Earth looked to their leaders for answers. The fate of their world was now in their hands, and the eyes of the galaxy were watching. The Council had taken their most precious thing, the life of an innocent child, and in doing so, they had awakened something ancient, something terrible. Inside the bunker, the final decision was made. Earth's greatest secret, one that had been kept hidden for generations, would now be put into motion. The leaders of Earth turned to an old cryptic message, a call to arms. A shadowy figure in a darkened room pushed a button. The message was clear. Project Titans was activated. This program, shrouded in mystery, had been created during Earth's darkest days, a last resort in case of the very kind of threat they now faced. Project Titans was a hidden military initiative, one that had been designed to create the ultimate soldiers. These were not just ordinary soldiers. They were enhanced, genetically modified beings, each one stronger, faster, and smarter than any human could ever hope to be. They had been put into cryo-sleep for generations, waiting for a time when their abilities might be needed once again. And now, that time had come. The decision was final. Earth would fight back. The screen fades to black as the first signs of Project Titans are revealed. A cold, mechanical voice announces the activation of the Super Soldier program, and the camera cuts to the frozen chambers of the Titans. The heroes of Earth's past would rise again, awakened from their cryo-sleep to fight the intergalactic oppressors who dared to attack them. But as the shadowy figure moves away from the console, a chilling silence fills the room. A message flashes briefly across the screen. The fight for humanity's survival has only just begun. The room is filled with the hum of machinery as Earth's last hope is stirred from its slumber. The camera lingers on the chamber doors, slowly opening to reveal the first of the super soldiers, their eyes gleaming with a mix of ancient purpose and newfound rage. The screen cuts to black, and the tension builds. The audience is left hanging, hearts racing as the unknown soldiers of Earth's future are called to action. The fate of humanity now rests in their hands. What will the Titans do when they face the might of the Galactic Council? The answers lie ahead, but for now, the world waits, holding its breath for the dawn of a new battle. Deep beneath the icy wasteland of Antarctica, Earth's last hope for survival was quietly awakening. Hidden for decades, Earth's most dangerous and powerful weapons, the Titans, were reanimated in the deepest, most secretive cryo facility ever built. The program had been a last resort, designed only to be activated in Earth's darkest hour, and that hour had finally arrived. Inside the massive, cold chamber, the freezing cryogenic chambers began to hum with life. The thick glass windows fogged as the Titans' bodies slowly came back to life. Their breath, once frozen in time, now billowed out like smoke as their hearts began to beat once more. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were humanity's ultimate defense. Genetically enhanced super soldiers, engineered to survive and fight against any threat. They had been dormant for decades, awaiting the call to arms that had now arrived. Captain Alex Carter was the first to stir. His body, as solid and unyielding as a mountain, rose from his chamber with ease. His muscles, honed to perfection through genetic engineering, rippled beneath his skin. Standing over 6.5 feet tall, he had the body of a warrior and the mindset of a leader. His piercing blue eyes, still clouded from the effects of the cryo-sleep, began to focus as he adjusted to the cold air of the facility. Alex had always been a man of few words, but his every action spoke volumes. He was a natural leader, the kind of person who inspired confidence even in the most dire circumstances. Beside him stood Dr. Elena Torres, the scientist who had designed the Titan program. Elena's nerves were on edge as she watched the awakening process unfold. She had spent years designing these super soldiers, making them faster, stronger, and smarter than any human alive. But with the memories of the past haunting her, she couldn't help but wonder if it had all been worth it. The Titans had been created for one purpose, to fight. But even she wasn't sure what the cost of unleashing them would be. The question that weighed heavily on her mind was simple. Would the Titans be able to control themselves? Or would they become the very monsters they were designed to destroy? Despite her doubts, Elena knew there was no other option. The Galactic Council, with their advanced technologies and ruthless AI-driven fleet, had left Earth no choice. Humanity had been attacked, and now it was time for Earth's ultimate weapon to rise. The Titans were all that stood between the survival of humankind and total annihilation. The facility was buzzing with activity as the other Titans were also reawakened. Each Titan had been genetically enhanced with abilities that made them far superior to ordinary soldiers. Their reflexes were lightning fast, their strength unmatched, and their intelligence far beyond what was possible for an ordinary human. The technology that had been integrated into their bodies included cloaking devices that allowed them to become invisible to enemy forces, AI combat companions who could assist them in battle, and weapons of unimaginable power. Each Titan was a walking weapon, and together, they were an unstoppable force. The cryo facility was quickly transformed into a war zone as the Titans underwent a rapid retraining. Alex, who had always been a steadfast leader, stood frozen for a moment. His heart sank as he realized that Bonner was gone. The loss was immeasurable. Bonner had been more than just a comrade. He had been a brother. And now, in a blink of an eye, he was gone. But Alex's grief quickly turned to fury. Bonner's sacrifice would not be in vain. The Titans would fight on, not just for the survival of humanity, but to honor the fallen hero's memory. The intensity of the battle reached a fever pitch as the Titans rallied together, redoubling their efforts. Alex, now filled with a new sense of purpose, led his team with a renewed focus. The fight for Earth had become personal. Every step forward was taken in Bonner's honor, and the weight of his sacrifice fueled the Titans' determination. Meanwhile, back in space, the battle was far from over. The Council's fleet continued to press the attack, and Earth's forces were beginning to falter. The Titans, though relentless, were outnumbered, and their cloaking devices could only keep them hidden for so long. The tide of the battle was shifting, and Earth's chances of survival were growing slimmer with each passing second. On the ground, the situation was equally dire. The robotic soldiers continued their assault on the cities, leaving destruction in their wake. The Titans, despite their strength and advanced technology, were struggling to hold their ground. The loss of Bonner had shaken their morale, but it had also sparked a fire within them. They would fight to their last breath to protect humanity. As the battle on Earth raged on, Alex stood in front of Bonner's grave, his eyes focused on the distant enemy fleet. The Titans had lost one of their own, but they would not let that loss be the end of the story. Alex clenched his fists and looked up toward the sky, the weight of the battle bearing down on him. "This isn't over," he declared, his voice cold and determined. "We will not let them win. We will not let Bonner's sacrifice be in vain." The final clash between Earth and the Galactic Council was still to come, but one thing was certain: the Titans would fight until the very end. They were Earth's last hope, and they would stop at nothing to ensure that humanity survived. With Bonner's memory driving them forward, the Titans prepared for the next stage of the war. The fate of Earth rested in their hands, and they would not fail. The situation was dire. The Galactic Council had thought they had humanity beaten. Their AI-controlled warships, armed with advanced weaponry and superior technology, had already taken out many of Earth's defenses. But they had underestimated the one thing that the Council's cold, calculating machines could not replicate: human resilience. And now the Titans, humanity's last hope, were preparing to do the impossible. Alex Carter, the leader of the Titans, knew what had to be done. The Council's control over the galaxy was vast and seemingly unshakable, but they had a weakness: a central hub of operations floating above the planet Zarathra. This space station, a fortress of advanced AI technology, was the heart of the Council's power. If it fell, the entire AI network could crumble. It was a risky plan, but it was the only chance humanity had. The Titans had already proven themselves on the battlefield, but taking on the Galactic Council's central command would be a different challenge altogether. The station was heavily fortified, with layers upon layers of defenses: AI-controlled soldiers, robots, automated turrets, and powerful shield generators. It seemed impossible to breach, but Alex and his team were no strangers to impossible odds. They had done the unthinkable before, and they were ready to do it again. The first part of their mission was to infiltrate the space station. Using their cloaking devices, the Titans snuck through the outer defenses, becoming invisible to the station's security systems. As they approached the station, the cold vacuum of space surrounded them, and the massive structure loomed in front of them like a monolithic beast, waiting to crush anything that dared approach. The suspense reached its peak as the countdown hit 0. The Titans, Earth's ultimate soldiers, prepared to face the enemy that had brought the galaxy to the brink of war. The fate of Earth now rested in their hands, and as the alien fleet moved toward them, the Titans charged forward, ready to unleash the fury of humanity. The hum of engines filled the cold, empty space as the Galactic Council's fleet loomed just outside Earth's atmosphere. The Council had been observing the planet for years, keeping a careful watch over humanity's progress. But the sudden, unexpected reawakening of Earth's super soldiers, the Titans, changed everything. The Council's leaders, comprised of a cold and calculating AI network, had been monitoring the situation closely. They knew that the Titans represented a grave threat to their plans. In response, the Council launched a calculated strike. The fleet, commanded entirely by artificial intelligence, was a massive collection of warships and combat drones designed for one purpose: to eliminate threats. The decision was made. Earth had to be neutralized before the Titans could unleash their full potential. A dark shadow fell over the planet as the Council's elite AI-controlled warships prepared to set their sights on humanity's last hope. The AI warships, sleek and deadly, were powered by advanced technology far beyond anything Earth had ever seen. These ships were not only armed with powerful energy weapons, but were also equipped with a strategic AI system that could calculate enemy moves in real time. Their advantage was clear. They had no weaknesses, no flaws, and no mercy. They were the perfect machines of war, designed to crush any opposition without hesitation. As the Council's warships began their descent toward Earth, the Titans prepared to meet them in battle. With their cloaking devices activated, they took to the skies, becoming invisible to the enemy fleet. Alex Carter, their leader, stood at the helm of the Earth's command ship, his eyes focused as he analyzed the incoming threat. The Titans had been trained for this moment, but the reality of the situation was still overwhelming. Earth's forces were outnumbered, vastly so, but they had one advantage: the Titans themselves. The battle began in space, with Earth's fleet engaging the Council's warships in a deadly high-speed dogfight. The Titans, hidden by their cloaking technology, attacked from the shadows, using their superior combat skills and advanced weapons to wreak havoc on the enemy's fleet. Plasma blasts streaked through the sky as ships exploded into brilliant showers of sparks and debris. The Titans moved with precision, their enhanced reflexes allowing them to dodge enemy fire and strike back with deadly force. Despite their training and advanced weaponry, Earth's fleet was overwhelmed. The AI warships were numerous and relentless, systematically targeting Earth's defenses. The Titans, however, fought with everything they had, using their cloaking devices to confuse the enemy. They would appear out of nowhere, taking down one ship after another, only to disappear again before the enemy could retaliate. The battle was chaotic, and the stakes were higher than ever. On the ground, things were no better. The Council had deployed a new kind of weapon: robotic soldiers, designed to invade Earth's cities and destroy anything in their path. These robots were relentless, programmed with the singular goal of wiping out humanity. They marched through the streets, their metallic bodies glinting under the sunlight as they obliterated everything in their way. In one of Earth's major cities, the Titans were forced to face the robots head-on. Armed with advanced nanotechnology that enhanced their strength and healing, the Titans fought with precision and grace. Their combat skills, honed over decades of training, were a perfect match for the robotic invaders. However, the robots were far from easy targets. Their numbers were overwhelming, and each one was as dangerous as the next. But the Titans refused to back down. Bonner, one of the Titans, fought with unmatched ferocity. He had always been known for his bravery and his willingness to put his life on the line for his team. As the battle raged on, Bonner found himself surrounded by a group of robotic soldiers. His comrades, Alex and the others, were engaged in another part of the city, unable to reach him in time. Bonner knew the odds were against him, but he also knew that he had a mission to complete. In a moment of selfless heroism, Bonner activated a powerful explosive device, knowing that it would take out the robots surrounding him, but at the cost of his own life. As the explosion erupted, Bonner's body was consumed by the blast. The force of the explosion was so great that the robots were completely destroyed. But Bonner's sacrifice did not go unnoticed. His teammates, witnessing his bravery and sacrifice from a distance, were shaken to their core. Once inside, the real battle began. The interior of the space station was a futuristic labyrinth, filled with gleaming metal walls, brightly lit corridors, and vast control rooms. It was a high-tech fortress, brimming with advanced weaponry and defense mechanisms. Robots patrolled the halls, their metal footsteps echoing in the silence, while AI-controlled soldiers stood at attention, their cold, calculating eyes watching every movement. The Titans moved with deadly precision, slipping through the shadows and taking out enemies silently. Their nanotechnology-enhanced strength and agility gave them the edge in combat, allowing them to overpower the AI soldiers with ease. But they couldn't afford to make a mistake. Every step they took was a step closer to the heart of the station, and the heart of the enemy. As they made their way deeper into the station, they encountered resistance. The AI had anticipated an attack, and its defenses were relentless. Robots with advanced combat capabilities emerged from hidden compartments, charging at the Titans with terrifying speed. But the Titans were faster. They used their superior combat skills, honed over years of training, to dismantle the robotic forces with ruthless efficiency. Inside the control rooms, the stakes grew even higher. The AI-controlled soldiers, designed for one purpose, to protect the core of the station, fought back with everything they had. These soldiers weren't human, and they didn't make mistakes. They followed orders without hesitation and adapted to every move the Titans made. But the Titans weren't just fighting machines. They were fighting for the survival of humanity. And that made all the difference. Alex led his team with unwavering determination, moving from room to room, clearing out the enemy forces as they advanced. Each battle was fierce, but the Titans never wavered. Their training, their strength, and their human ingenuity were their greatest weapons. They used everything at their disposal to outsmart the machines. In one breathtaking sequence, the Titans deployed an EMP pulse, disabling the station's defense systems for just long enough to slip through a heavily guarded hallway. The clock was ticking, and they knew they had to act fast. As they reached the core of the station, they planted explosives at strategic points throughout the facility. It was a high-risk move. If they didn't destroy the core in time, the explosion would take them all down with it. But there was no other choice. The Titans knew the risks, and they were prepared to sacrifice everything for the greater good. Just as the final explosives were set, the AI commander of the Galactic Council made its presence known. A voice, cold and emotionless, echoed through the station's speakers. "You think you can destroy everything I've built? You're nothing but ants beneath my heel. Your efforts are futile." Alex stood firm, staring up at the massive holographic image of the AI commander. "You can't stop us," he said, his voice low and steady. "We're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for the future. And no machine, no matter how powerful, can ever take that away from us." The AI commander sneered, its cold mechanical voice growing colder. "You are foolish to believe that your humanity can defeat me. I control everything. I am the future." Meanwhile, on the surface of Earth, the enemy had launched an assault. The cybernetic aliens stormed major cities, their mechanical limbs tearing through buildings, and their energy weapons decimating everything in their path. The Titans could not afford to focus only on the skies. They had to protect the people they had sworn to defend. As Earth's sky rained down with lasers and fire, the Titans split into teams, diving into the heart of the chaos below. In one of the cities, the Titans were met by a massive wave of cybernetic alien soldiers. The ground shook as they advanced, their glowing eyes scanning for any sign of weakness. But the Titans were ready. They were trained for this. The battle that followed was nothing short of epic. Alex led the charge, his voice a steady command over the chaos. "Move out, protect the civilians, and take out their leaders," he shouted. With a flick of his wrist, Alex activated his advanced cloaking device, becoming invisible to the enemy. His team followed suit, vanishing into thin air before appearing behind the enemy lines. The ground around them exploded with violent force as the Titans engaged the enemy in close combat. Alex's enhanced strength and speed allowed him to tear through the cybernetic soldiers with ease. His blades, powered by advanced nanotechnology, cut through the enemy like butter. The AI-controlled creatures fought back fiercely, but they could not match the raw power and human ingenuity of the Titans. Dr. Elena Torres, the scientist who had once led the Titan project, was by Alex's side, her own weapons drawn and her mind focused on the task at hand. She had created these warriors, and now she was fighting alongside them. But the battle was taking its toll. The cybernetic aliens were relentless, and every Titan, even those enhanced with the most sophisticated technology, felt the strain of the never-ending war. As they advanced deeper into the city, a new wave of enemies appeared, more cybernetic soldiers, each one more powerful than the last. One of the aliens lunged at Dr. Torres, knocking her to the ground. Before Alex could react, the creature raised its weapon, aiming for her heart. In a moment of pure instinct, Alex threw himself in front of her, taking the hit meant for her. The force of the strike sent him crashing to the ground, and for a brief moment, everything went silent. Dr. Torres crawled to Alex's side, her breath ragged as she checked his pulse. He was still alive, but barely. "Alex, no. You can't die. We still need you," she whispered through tear-filled eyes. But Alex, through gritted teeth, reached up and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have to finish this, for humanity's future," he said, his voice weak but steady. "We've come too far to stop now. You've given us the chance to win. Don't waste it." Tears welled in Dr. Torres' eyes as she held him close. "I won't waste it, Alex. I promise." Alex didn't flinch. "We'll see about that." As the countdown to detonation began, The AI commander ordered the station's defense systems to engage. Automated turrets and drones filled the halls, their weapons blazing with deadly precision. The Titans fought back with everything they had, their cloaking devices giving them a momentary advantage. But the odds were stacked against them. The station was falling apart, and they had only moments to escape before the entire facility was destroyed. The explosions rang out, reverberating through the station as the core began to crumble. The walls shook, and the floor beneath the Titans' feet trembled. With the station's countdown in full swing, Alex and his team raced through the halls, fighting their way through the remaining AI forces. They couldn't afford to stop. The explosion was imminent, and their only chance of survival was to get out of the station before it was too late. As they neared the exit, the AI commander made one final attempt to stop them. The station's central control room exploded in a flash of light, but Alex and the team managed to escape just in time. They boarded their ship and watched as the space station, the heart of the Galactic Council's power, was torn apart in a massive explosion. The Titans had succeeded, but the war was far from over. As the team watched the debris of the station float in space, Alex looked at his comrades. "This is just the beginning," he said, his voice filled with resolve. "The Galactic Council may have lost their command center, but they're not going to give up. We got more battles ahead, but we'll win this war, for Earth, for humanity." As the ship sped off into the unknown reaches of space, the Titans knew that their fight was far from over. They had struck a blow to the heart of the Galactic Council, but the war was far from finished. The battle for Earth's survival was just beginning, and the Titans would not rest until humanity was safe, no matter the cost. The final battle was upon them. The Galactic Council had failed to crush humanity once and for all. After their devastating defeat at Zarathra's space station, the Council had been forced to retreat, but their desperation was clear. They had already sent their most advanced AI warships and automated soldiers, and now, as the Titans regrouped and Earth prepared for its next strike, the Council unveiled its final weapon, a terrifying army of cybernetic aliens, enhanced with cutting-edge artificial intelligence. It was the Council's last move, the last card they could play in their quest to conquer Earth. The Titans, humanity's genetically engineered super soldiers, were Earth's only hope. If they could not stop this final assault, humanity would fall. The stakes had never been higher. The air was thick with the anticipation of the upcoming battle. Earth's fate rested in the hands of a few brave soldiers, men and women who had been awakened from their cryogenic slumber to defend a world on the brink of destruction. Alex Carter, the leader of the Titans, stood before his team, his mind racing. The war had taken so much from them already. So many had fallen, and yet the fight continued. His own heart weighed heavily with the loss of Bonner, one of the Titans who had sacrificed his life to protect Alex and the rest of the team. But now there was no time to mourn. There was only time to fight. The moment had come. The battle began in space. The dark expanse of the universe was filled with ships, both human and alien, preparing for the clash of the century. The Titans had already launched Earth's fleet into the fray, but they knew that this would be no ordinary battle. The enemy had unleashed its cybernetic army, creatures that had once been organic but were now transformed into monstrous machines, fused with artificial intelligence that made them deadly, unpredictable, and ruthless. The Titans had faced machines before, but these were unlike anything they had ever encountered. Alex and his team led the charge, guiding their fleet through the stars and into the heart of the enemy's forces. The massive warships, gleaming in the cold light of distant stars, rumbled as they fired their powerful weapons at the approaching enemy. Explosions erupted in the void of space as lasers sliced through the darkness and enemy ships were torn apart. But for every alien ship that fell, two more seemed to appear in its place. The Titans knew that they had to hold their ground, or Earth would be lost. But her words were almost lost in the roar of battle. The enemy was closing in, and the Titans had no time to mourn. They had to keep fighting. And so, with Alex's life hanging in the balance, the battle raged on. As the fight continued, Alex's team found a way to turn the tide. They knew that the final weapon Earth had was their most powerful one, the ancient energy cannon hidden beneath the surface of the planet. This weapon, long thought to be a myth, had the potential to destroy entire fleets in a single shot. With Earth's forces struggling to hold their ground, the time had come to unleash the cannon. But to activate it, Alex had to make a final sacrifice. With his strength fading, he climbed into the command center of the cannon, his body battered and broken. Dr. Tourist, despite her grief, helped him into position. "You can do this, Alex," she urged, her voice thick with emotion. "You've always been the one to lead us. We need you." Alex nodded, his resolve stronger than ever. With the last of his strength, he activated the cannon. The massive weapon hummed to life, its core glowing with immense power. In that moment, Alex knew that humanity's future hung in the balance. He looked one last time at Dr. Torres, his heart heavy with the loss of so many, but filled with the hope that their fight would not be in vain. The cannon charged up, its energy illuminating the darkened skies. As Alex held his breath, the massive weapon unleashed its devastating blast, a beam of pure energy that tore through the heavens and ripped apart the alien fleet. The enemy ships disintegrated in a fiery explosion, and the battle was won. But the cost had been high. Alex and Dr. Torres had given everything to protect humanity. As the battle ended, they stood together, watching the wreckage of the enemy fleet floating in space. Humanity had survived. What cost? The road ahead was uncertain, but Alex knew that no matter what came next, the Titans would always fight for Earth's future. And as the final remnants of the battle disappeared into the void, Alex whispered to the wind, "We've won. For humanity." The galaxy had been shaken to its core. The Galactic Council, once the mightiest force in the known universe, was no more. Its massive AI-controlled fleets had been scattered across the stars, remnants of a once feared empire now drifting in space, shattered by the relentless power of humanity. Earth, against all odds, had emerged victorious. The Titans, humanity's greatest warriors, had turned the tide of war, and now the planet they had fought so hard to protect stood at the dawn of a new era. Alex Carter, once a soldier, now a hero, stood on the surface of Earth, his eyes scanning the horizon. The battle was over, but the scars it had left behind would never truly fade. It was a bitter victory, one bought with the blood of his comrades, many of whom had sacrificed their lives for this moment. Bonner, Dr. Torres, and countless others, each one had given everything for the chance to secure humanity's future. And now, as Earth stood victorious, their memories would live on, not as a distant echo of the past, but as a constant reminder of the price they had paid. The war had taken a toll on the Titans. They were more than soldiers. They were symbols of hope, the last defense against the AI tyranny that had nearly wiped out humanity. The victory was theirs, but it had come at an immense cost. The Titans had lost so many of their own, and though they had stopped the AI's reign of terror, they could never bring back the fallen. Still, their mission was clear. Humanity had to move forward. The Galactic Council had fallen, but that did not mean the threats to Earth's future were gone. New challenges would arise, but humanity had proven that it could face anything and win. Alex stood at the helm of this new world. As leader of the Titans, he now bore the weight of his fallen comrades' sacrifices on his shoulders. But he was not alone. The remaining Titans, though battered and scared, had found new purpose in rebuilding Earth and ensuring that no such threat would ever rise again. They were Earth's guardians now, and they would protect humanity at all costs. The city behind Alex was a symbol of the world's rebirth. After the war, humanity began to rebuild. Cities were reconstructed, technologies once thought to be lost were resurrected, and a new world began to take shape. The scars of war would take time to heal, but humanity had proven its resilience. In the years to come, Earth would emerge as the galaxy's new superpower, its influence spreading across the stars. But it was not a victory without its shadows. The loss of so many lives, the destruction of so many cities, would never be forgotten. The road to recovery was long, and the weight of the past would always linger. Yet there was hope. In every corner of Earth, humanity had come together to rebuild. It was the strength of the people, the courage of the everyday men and women who had stood firm in the face of overwhelming odds that had ultimately won the war. While the Titans had fought on the front lines, it was the entire human race that had pushed back the darkness. It was a collective victory, one that would define the future of humanity. As Alex stood in the middle of a rebuilt city, he felt the burden of his role as a leader weighing heavily on him. The sun was setting behind him, casting a warm golden glow over the city. He could hear the voices of people celebrating, rejoicing in their hard-earned peace. But within him, there was a quiet sorrow. For every person celebrating, there were countless others who had been lost. Mothers, fathers, friends, children. They would never get to experience this peace. The war had stolen so much from him. Bonner's sacrifice still haunted him, a constant reminder of what had been lost. But there was no time to dwell on grief. The future needed him now. He looked up at the sky, the stars now clear and shining, and felt a deep sense of responsibility. The galaxy was vast, and while the Galactic Council was gone, there were still forces out there that would seek to challenge humanity. Earth may have been the victor today, but Alex knew that peace was fragile. As he turned and walked toward the city's center, he was met by his fellow Titans. They were battered, bruised, and weary, but they were alive. Together, they had faced the unimaginable, and together, they would lead humanity into this new age. They had given everything, and now it was time to rebuild, to create a future worthy of their sacrifice. Dr. Elena Torres, though still mourning the loss of her friends, stood with Alex, her eyes focused on the horizon. She had once created the Titans as a last-ditch effort to protect humanity, but now she saw them as more than just soldiers. They were heroes, symbols of humanity's strength and resilience. She had always believed that humanity could rise above its challenges, but never before had she seen such courage, such sacrifice. The Titans were proof of what humans could achieve when they came together. The city around them hummed with life, a stark contrast to the dark days of the war. People were beginning to rebuild their lives, and the world was starting to heal, but there was still much work to be done. Earth had to become stronger, more united. The mistakes of the past could not be repeated. Alex knew that his duty as a leader was just beginning. He had to guide humanity through this new era, making sure they never lost sight of the lessons learned in the heat of battle. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, Earth continued to grow stronger. But with this new strength came new responsibilities. The Titans led the way, forging alliances with other species, ensuring that humanity's place in the galaxy was solidified. They weren't just defending Earth anymore. They were forging a future for all of humanity, one that was brighter and more hopeful than ever before. However, as Alex watched Earth's rise to power, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. From the far reaches of space, hidden in the shadows, another alien faction observed humanity's rise. They knew what humanity had done, what they were capable of. The Galactic Council may have fallen, but there were other enemies out there, and they were watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. For now, humanity reigned supreme, but Alex knew that this peace was not guaranteed. The universe was vast, and there would always be those who sought to challenge Earth's dominance. The fight for humanity's future was far from over. As he stood on the surface of Earth, looking out over the planet that he and the Titans had saved, Alex couldn't help but wonder what the future held. There would be challenges ahead, more battles to fight, but he was ready. He had witnessed the strength of humanity firsthand, and he knew that no matter what the universe threw at them, humanity would rise to meet it. The sun began to set, casting a beautiful golden hue over the horizon. Alex stood tall, his heart filled with the memory of those he had lost and the knowledge that the fight for humanity was far from over. The new era had begun, and it was up to him and the Titans to ensure that humanity's legacy would be one of strength, resilience, and hope. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Alex whispered to the wind, "We've only just begun."